As the title indicates, how would a new Spyro the Dragon game, aka Spyro 4, be handled? Hi everyone, it's me, Vivi, and welcome back to another Spyro-related video. First and foremost, I'm saying Spyro 4, yeah, nothing of such sort has been confirmed, but the most realistic approach at this point, in my personal opinion, is to release a sequel to Spyro Year of the Dragon, which, as a matter of fact, is a game part of the Reignited Trilogy, a remake of 3 games released in 2018, developed by Toys for Bob. These 3 games were originally developed by Insomniac Games and later remade by Toys for Bob. Comparing Crash 4 It's About Time's Scenario, which by the way is a game also developed by Toys for Bob, it's a game which is a sequel to Crash Warped. Crash Warped being the 3rd game of the classic trilogy developed by Naughty Dog, which later also got reintroduced as part of the remake called Insane Trilogy, released in 2017 by Vicarious Visions. So you notice what happened here, right? Activision approved on having remakes be delivered to both old fans and new, and then greenlight an actual sequel to the 3rd game. In this case, Crash Bandicoot. Who's to say the same won't happen to Spyro the Dragon? Let me tell you one thing. As I guessed at the start of the video, we could be expecting a sequel to Spyro 3, in this case, a game titled Spyro the Dragon 4 most likely. Just like Crash, Spyro would be getting a new sequel directly tied to the Reignited Trilogy. From both the marketing and business perspective, I believe it's the next big and greatest step Activision could take. Not to mention the art book of Crash 4 released last December, by the way. It has a logo of Spyro 4, literally hiding in this artwork. If that's not enough of a tease, then what is? I wouldn't even argue the sales numbers at this point. Yes, the Insane Trilogy sold over 10 million, which warranted CTR, Crash Nitro Fueled, a remake of the 4th original entry by Naughty Dog. Yes, the Insane Trilogy was within the UK sales charts 7 weeks in a row when it released on the PlayStation 4. Again, yes, the Insane Trilogy launched on other systems 1 year after its release on the PlayStation 4. What happened, it kept its spot up on the UK sales charts 8 weeks in a row, for that matter. As for the Reignited Trilogy, while it didn't quite gain the same traction Crash did with the UK sales charts. But according to that same Q4 earnings call by Activision in 2018, the one which mentioned the 10 million sales of Insane Trilogy, well, Activision confirmed that the launch of Spyro Reignited was a success. However, there was no sales figures attached to that statement. Successful enough to warrant a brand new game at this point? I'd like to believe so. As I showed you before, this hint of Spyro 4 in the Crash 4 art book, it could strongly indicate that people at Activision are cooking up something, but they're just very hush-hush about it. If VG Chartz is anything to go by, remember it's like a rough estimate of physical sales, by the way, the PS4 version estimated to have sold over 2 million copies, and slightly above 500,000 for the Xbox version. Remember, Spyro was released multi-platform from the get-go, PlayStation 4 and Xbox, and then later on it saw a release on the Nintendo Switch and PC. Next thing to think about, just who will develop Spyro 4? My guess, as always, the honor might go to Toys for Bob, mainly. I believe there's high possibility that Toys for Bob will be the lead developer for this game. And what I mean by lead, I'd expect some sort of collaboration to happen within the handful of developers under Activision. Remember, the Insane Trilogy had help from Toys for Bob. Insane was developed by Vicarious Visions after all, which by the way, if you haven't heard, Vicarious Visions merged with Blizzard Entertainment. You might think, but hey, Blizzard Entertainment, Activision Blizzard, it's still Activision. That doesn't mean Vicarious Visions can't work on Spyro 4. Well, here's the thing. Merge in this case means Vicarious Visions dissolved into Blizzard Entertainment, a company behind games such as Overwatch, World of Warcraft. You get the idea. Although Blizzard is tied to Activision, Blizzard Entertainment, I don't know the technicalities of their contract. It's just that Vicarious Visions is no longer an independent solo studio. They're just Blizzard now. What also happened, studio head at Vicarious Visions, Jen O'Neill, is now executive vice president at Blizzard. Her former role got taken over by Chief Operating Officer Simon Ebinger from Vicarious Visions. Although Vicarious still has a studio head, they're simply part of a different department of games at Activision. Alrighty, Beenox helped Toys for Bob with the inverted levels in Crash 4, with Tony Hawk remakes to a certain extent. There's also the Shanghai studio at Activision who also helped on developing Crash 4. We don't know much about the Shanghai studio. What we do know is that it was founded in 2009. They helped with COD Black Ops Cold War. Also Beenox was involved with the Cold War. There's Warzone. There's COD Online in China. And of course Crash 4. The idea here, well, collaboration. It keeps on happening between different studios. And it's been a trend with Activision's practices lately. So back to what I was saying. I'd imagine Toys for Bob mainly working on this, and with some potential collaboration with whatever studio Activision deems essential for the game. With Vicarious Visions out of the picture, I mean Spyro 4 Studios gets narrowed down to Beenox and Toys for Bob. My guess, like I said, is Toys for Bob. Not just because they brought us the Reignited Trilogy, and that they have experience with the feel of the games, but the fact that they were capable of working on Crash 4 while also working on Reignited. Yes, Sanzaru Games did technically help with the third entry of the Reignited Trilogy, but collaborations at this point, it's not something too surprising. By the way, Sanzaru Games is now under Oculus, so they're out of the equation. So yeah, if you didn't know, work on Crash 4 began in 2017, as stated by one of the artists of the game, Rob Duenas. During that time, obviously, Toys for Bob was also working on Reignited, so et voila. Unless Activision picks up another studio for Spyro 4, I mean, we don't know. I think Toys for Bob is still a strong contender. Heck, they might collab with Beenox, and are probably already starting work on it. Some might believe, oh, maybe Spyro 4 is being mainly developed by Beenox since they've only been doing additional work for other studios. What if they're developing a big game for themselves with other additional studios as support? I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know. Alright, assuming Toys for Bob is behind Spyro 4, should we expect a change in design when it comes to Spyro? Seeing as how Crash 4 got the Reignited treatment in terms of visuals, I take it the visuals for Spyro will remain just about the same as it currently is. As for Spyro's model, I wouldn't be surprised if they tweaked his model a little. Not saying I dislike the current model, in fact I love it. But Toys for Bob or whoever is going to be in charge for Spyro 4, they might get the, oh, it's a new game syndrome. Let's change the model. The only tweaking I'd love to have, well, it's not tweaking per se, more like a cosmetic addition. Crash 4 and CTR Nitro Fueled are two games which introduced us to skins. I could easily imagine skins appearing in Spyro 4. Why not? It sounds like so much fun. What I like to think back to, the Spyro Grand Prix from Nitro Fueled. This winter Spyro skin, I mean, look at this guy. It's just so cool to look at. Imagine having something like this as a skin in Spyro 4. Not just for Spyro. Assuming Hunter, Bianca, or whoever they plan on having playable, they too deserve skins. Sadly, Crash 4's files, deep within the files is what I'm trying to say, indicates that Dingo, Tana, and Cortex, those extra playable characters in Crash 4, were supposed to have skins. If they initially had that idea for Crash 4's cast of characters, why not use the same for Spyro? Another thing I always think back to. For some reason, Toys for Bob completely ignored the epilogues from Spyro 2 and 3. They're full-on absent from the Reignited Trilogy. Was this intentional on their part? Did they purposely avoid including them, say for a potential sequel in the future? Thinking about it now, if these were in, especially the part that says the Spyro problem between Ripto and Nasty, maybe they thought fans would get their expectations too high for the next potential sequel. Like, oh, I was expecting Nasty and Ripto teaming up because we had the epilogue in 3. Whatever their reason was for cutting the epilogues from the remakes, I personally feel they could come up with an entirely new villain. I'm aware that an evil dragon concept is already a thing of the past. Example, A Hero's Tale from 2005. We have Red, a fallen dragon elder. Yes, it was used already, the idea of an evil dragon, but I'd love to see an evil dragon, especially looking at these beautiful designs of these dragons. I just want to see more animated cutscenes with these dragons, Spyro interacting with the elders to a much greater extent. Toys for Bob attempted to deepen the narrative of Crash Bandicoot with the 4th entry. Crash was never a story-driven game, so I really appreciated that Toys for Bob added that new narrative to Crash 4. As for Spyro, the series had more narrative right from the start. So just imagine what kind of storytelling Toys for Bob would deliver us with Spyro 4. You might ask, okay, are they gonna do the whole different dimensions thing, alternate dimensions stuff? I low-key hope not. I feel like it's a trend which has been overused. I would personally just like it for them to just make a story that continues off of Spyro 3. Just introduce a new villain. You don't have to introduce the whole theme of dimensions and all that. This is Spyro. There's so many dragons, fairies, magic in the world of Spyro. They shouldn't be afraid to come up with a story that doesn't involve traveling to different dimensions and alternate stuff. We already have that idea with the portals and stuff in Spyro, if you think about it. We're already dealing with the nature of portals, so I believe they could make something without, other dimensions or traveling to the future. One more thing. This design by Nicholas Kole. Cinder, from the Legend of Spyro series. I mean, I really won't be surprised if she gets reimagined for the series, like a complete different character for Spyro. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that, and I believe I've said plenty for the video. So as usual, if you have any questions, thoughts, or anything of such sort, leave it all in the comments section below. And as always, I've been VV, and thank you so much for watching.